Welcome back to the second part of the presentation. Before we start, I would like to introduce you to my favorite designer, Sophie, who helped really tremendously to create this beautiful collection. She became really a very important part in the creative process, but also in the technical process to convert all these crazy ideas from the designers into a proper design which works. And she will also be handling all custom inquiries. So when you talk to Sophie, that's her face. And then we have somebody standing behind the camera who comes now over here. That's Samira. And Samira is she is heading the marketing and the press. So she will handling all the effects now, how we push this collection out, the social media, and this is the team which actually created this beautiful collection. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to continue with a theme which was started with New Book and became very successful in some corporate standards even. We did pizzeria where over the next 4 years where they used nubuck with the thermofixation. As you know, or some of you know, we did change in the production that we went to a different type of thermofixation where we now can actually emboss or make this treatment to all of our fabrics. So that includes actually also denim, which is 100% cotton, and raffia, which was the polyester. We have Olmo, we have the knit collection, we have Monteverdi, beautiful for a headboard, and we have Brad as usual, and here Marble, Bonnie and Clyde, Ferial. So this collection is going to be introduced shortly to you. You will receive from all the possible patterns a small memo. We have 12 different patterns, from lines to dots to crocodile prints, rhombus, the Art Deco rhombus we left, and we will come back to you with a special training and special sales manuals once we are ready to explain this in physical samples to you. Expect them to be with you in February. It's uploaded on the website, so you can already have a look there. And perhaps very briefly, you have to pay attention to the sizes of the molds. This is not linear meters embossed. We lay the fabric, we have a mold, and we press the molds down. Some molds can be combined so that they are invisible, the matches, the combinations. Some are restricted to some heights, but usually it's all high wall height, so I think it shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, for upholstery, it was never an issue or a problem. And I'm sitting here in front of the new Wallcovering Collection. Some of you saw last year that we introduced this beautiful poetry, a 24-karat poem by Moiret in Zurich, a graphic designer, who wrote a lovely Christmas letter to his girlfriend. And you can also read the text on the website. We wrote it out so that you can understand how the calligraphy is put together into this slightly Arabian motif. It says you can be a tiger, you can be a butterfly, you can be anything you want to be. We printed it last year on this 24-karat hand-foiled gold leaf paper, and it was very well received, a lot of reaction. So you remember that we can print it positive and negative, so that we have it either overprinted with the color accent, or we have the gold really coming through. Remember, these are metallic surfaces. It's 24-karat gold. So the gold will always shimmer through and have a beautiful, rich look. It's not imitating metal, it's actually real metal. We added this year a new brochure showing it with some renderings to help to understand how the scales are working in spaces. Please understand that we are really not trying to make interior design, so these are just very simple renderings but beautifully made, with like giving just the idea in different applications. Obviously here hospitality, this one here more like a hotel room / residential application. With Roland Char, a French-Swiss artist living in Paris. After a studio visit in Paris, we were just so blown away by his work. Usually it's kept on a very small scale, so his drawings are not bigger than a repeat, and that was then the whole challenge, to actually paint this the way that it looks like an oversized painting. Maze is a paintbrush which is actually still visible. If you go through into the design, also in the brochure, you see that it's the paintbrush, the actual texture from the brush is still visible. And it's a very highly skilled technique not to overprint, but to actually print just the amount of color on this copper foil, so that it still remains transparent and translucent. This is sort of like what we used to do in silk prints. We were not able to do that in digital print. This is what we do today in digital print. Working really hard with the production to make this color stick and to make this like beautiful translucent effects in it. Once again, you have it in copper and in silver. And here is wave. This is beautiful, colorful wave intermingling with each other and creating this fantastic picture. Remember that this brochure is a sales tool as well. So this is always printed 1-to-1 scale. So if you're just without a hand sample, just with the brochure, you can always hold that up to the wall and see that you have the same repeat. We have here some overview photography. We show this also on the website. We have mirrored, which actually was born out of a project where a designer was running out of money to actually have these blinded mirrors, as we call it, these antique mirrors. And as we were working on that silver foil, we said, oh, that's very interesting to actually print it and create that same effect. So mirrored has this overall texture, and you can see how it reads with the beautiful color reflection here. And we can imagine this to be as an inlay in cabinets, framed in the entrance hall. It just really has a beautiful color as well. Remind also that this color is the silver color, but we print it over with that champagne. It's a slightly bronzy finish, which comes very visible here in this. So here we have the overall shot. And this one is panoramas. This is printed on our standard wallpaper quality. It's a beautiful artwork of like 3 different panels. When you put it together, it creates this like fantastic lines, either going on, changing the color, or being blocked by this line here. And so if you put panel A, B, C together, you have a beautiful up and down movement, like water flowing through like a landscape. We were first wanted to call it Amazonas, but Roland was like, no, I like the panoramas because we want to create a panorama, we can't create this illusion of like water going in and out of the land or finding its way through a land. Boudoir is my favorite wall carving this year, beside the metallic prints. It's the embroidered wall covering coming in 6 colors. And I'm just grabbing this one piece I have here. So we all know that that we like to work on unusual material. We use that non-woven, which we printed on for a long time as a material. And we then went to the embroidery machine and tried to see if we can actually weave or do a different moving, a stitch movement on this material without destroying the material. And it worked just beautifully. So this is actually also interesting to use as Roman blinds, because if you hold it against the light here, you see that it has a beautiful texture and a beautiful line, change of colors as well. And if you put it on a wall, you see that you can actually influence it either with a white background or with a darker background. You can really pick up the tone. The color selection is done the way that it's reading a vertical line, but not accentuating the line to reinforce a vertical line. It's just like the shade going from one into the other color. The theme boudoir, call this whole collection the Grand Boudoir Collection. Boudoir, coming from the French language, is basically a room where only you have access, where you would go. It's your favorite room. It's like where you go and sulk and think about life a little bit, and either you're sad or happy, or just have a very intimate room. And we like this idea because wall coverings always do embrace you, especially if you put them on all 4 walls. Textiles are emotional, wall coverings are even more emotional because they decorate the wall, and if you put them around yourself, they really embrace you. So we were thinking about, I gave here a little introduction of it, so you can read that through and take it into your presentation. But the Boudoir Collection definitely is like a very personal, intimate collection, working on a very high level of aesthetics and bring luxury and some sort of like also sentimentality to a space. Thank you very much and good luck.